All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another episode of That's Life podcast. I've got my main man Ryan in the building. Lots to talk about with Ryan. Ryan, how you doing, my man?
Miz, I'll tell you exactly how I'm doing, brother. First, happy to talk to my best friend in the whole wide world, not just in Australia. But two, I caught myself, Man City lose, Arsenal lose. I caught myself
Mm,
thinking 3 points this week, possibly 3 points next week,
yeah,
only sitting at second, 3 points behind Liverpool. And I
yeah,
lived in that dream for maybe 85 minutes or 80 minutes, even at
yeah,
1-1, I live in that dream world where we could go into international break saying we're second in the Premier League,
yeah.
above Man City and Arsenal. My brother, that dream has dissipated. It
Hmm.
is gone. And the reality, not only the reality, but just simply that's life. What life is as a Chelsea fan in this moment, brother,
It's so
it's a
apt, isn't it?
reality check. It's
It's
a
so apt.
reality check.
Don't you reckon this podcast, the name, is so apt? Like that's life, bro. That's life.
Yeah, that's life for sure.
Ryan,
No,
bro, I'm gonna let you run with it today, man. I've
I'm gonna
spoken
run
a
with
lot
it, bro.
about this. I've spoken a lot about how I feel post the Man United game. Angry, but at the same time disappointed. I'm gonna let you.
I'll
You
I'll
talk.
I'll take
Yeah,
it
you
over.
talk. Yeah, you
I'll take
talk,
it.
bro.
So I wanna first thing I wanna bring up, which is from my notes that I wrote, and I
Hmm.
didn't write any notes actually. I just think about this as soon as 2 minutes ago when he told me to take the show on as a lead. I said, all right, let me think about shit to say. But first note that I've thought about in 2 minutes, and I
Hmm.
typed this to you, bro. Like when you're doing your live yesterday,
Yeah.
I think it was. I typed it to you
Yes.
saying,
Yes.
and the label of this note is called, if we had an editor, would have been the glass ceiling. The
Yeah.
glass ceiling, bro. It seems like this Chelsea team with these crop of players, I know we had new ones come in, but it seems the
Yeah.
ones under the Bowley era, you
Yeah.
know, um, we just can't get over that glass ceiling, punch through that glass ceiling of beating
Mm.
a big club.
Yeah.
We could beat Tottenham. I don't think that's a big club in my eyes. But when I talk about big name clubs, I talk about Manchester United is still a big name club,
Yeah.
especially at their stadium, Old Trafford.
Yes.
A big club,
We haven't
right?
beaten them for like 11 years. Make that 12 now.
Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester City. This is the big clubs I'm talking about in England.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this Chelsea team, this crop of players that under the Bowley, Egbali era, I'm not talking about the era before that won
Yeah.
these big games with Kovacic, Jorginho, this, that, Thiago Silva, blah, blah. Talking
Mm.
about this era has not felt what it feels like to beat a big team where
Yeah.
it meant something. And I told you a couple of weeks ago on the podcast that this is what this team needs. This is the next step.
Yeah.
We've beaten teams around the top four, Newcastle, Villa, wherever, but we
Yeah.
need
We
to
need to
beat
taste
a
it. We
big
need to
club.
taste it. Yeah.
And we need to taste, you know that feeling when you celebrate and
Yeah.
I go and everybody huddle up and David Luiz used to run and jump on everybody in that huddle. And
Yeah.
that feeling where you're just grabbing the imaginary badge on your shirt as a fan.
Yeah.
I wanted our players to feel that. And you know what, Miz? I could have felt that every fan from
Yeah.
your previews, from my text messages to you, from Matisse's videos, Eunice's videos, the fans were up for it. And I
Yeah.
felt for the first time that these are people that I watch, that I love watching, their eyes lit up for the first time in 3 or 4 years' time. They lit
Yeah.
up with that blue blood. I could see that we are Chelsea. We are the best team in London. We are
Mm.
2 times champions of Europe. Respect us,
Come
right?
on.
And
Yeah.
you all built up this game, and I built it in my heart that we have to go there and eat this Manchester United team alive. And
Hmm.
then go to a weak Arsenal or out of form bit Arsenal and get that win.
Mm.
But it seems that from your comments, Miss, like when you abuse somebody for long and they just kind of set into that role and identity of the abused.
Mm, mm, mm.
And sometimes they let the abused get out of this toxic relationship and they'll be like, nah, bro, I belong in this household. Maybe I don't deserve better. I don't deserve a better relationship. It feels like these fans for the past 3 years, they forgot who the hell, which club they support
Yeah.
and why they started supporting Chelsea and the journey of supporting Chelsea for the past decades. And they want to keep on being abused. And for me, I felt that our fan base, the ones that truly feel that blue blood of winning trophies and missed it, and who eyes lit up like
Mm,
a dog with saliva in his mouth, getting
mm.
raw meat for the first time. I saw that in us, but I did not see that from our players.
Yeah.
And that's the first note I want to say. I was a bit disappointed that, especially with the results against Manchester City and Arsenal, I did not see it.
Do you know what? Spot on. Absolutely spot on, Ryan. You've encapsulated everything that I felt post match. I said that yesterday, early UK time, that more than ever, Ryan, I'm in the belief that we've got the right manager. We actually do. We've got a manager that talks in a appropriate manner, talks the right talk, gives us insight into what is going on inside the team, gives us information about what player is doing what and what he doesn't like, who belongs, who doesn't belong. Tactically, post match, he's actually educating us. He's telling us why he did what he did. And post that game, I felt it was so obvious, Ryan, that there are certain players. I don't know whether they're going to be good down the track. I'm not really sure. I'm not some sort of a fortune teller to see if some of these players are actually going to be greats one day. Some do belong. There are some players absolutely belong, in my opinion, and they will be the cornerstone of the football club. But then there are some that, I bashed up the B team the other day, and people hate all of these A and B connotations. I'm sorry, you're going to have to accept it. There is a A and B distinct difference happening here. Watch the team that's going to start against FC Noah to the one that actually starts against Arsenal in the weekend, and just tell me that there
Yeah.
is no difference between A and B. There is. There just is. As Ryan so aptly says almost every time we do this, that's live podcast episodes. There are certain players, there are spectators. That's
No,
why they play in the conference league. They're
and this,
spectators. Yeah.
I said it to you on about two podcasts ago. I said it when we lost against Liverpool. I
Mm.
said, look, we lost this, we failed this test, but we could use this test to
Mm.
pass down the line. I
Yeah.
said that there are certain players that I want them to feel the hurt that they're feeling.
Yeah.
Soak in this feeling against Liverpool. This hurt that you didn't get 3 points, that you lost. And I want you to take that hurt and bring it because you have some big teams coming up still.
Mm-hmm.
When I watched these players, I felt as if they probably had short-term memory loss or long-term memory loss or probably just
Just,
dementia.
just no memory. Yeah, dementia. Just no memory.
Dementia,
Just no
right?
memory. I don't have memory.
Because I didn't see hurt from them. I didn't see
Yeah,
the fire. And
yeah.
forget about tactics, and we will talk about tactics because finally I have my board out for this episode, and I'm going to
Come
tell
on.
you all what I've been thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not see that fire from them. Tactics could only get you so much, Miz.
Yeah.
Maresca does so. Watch our build up, watch our organization, and from
Yes.
that you could tell that. And I always tell you, Miz, that I was this quote. I don't even know if it's a fake Pep quote or a real one back in Twitter. You didn't know back in those days, right? Or if the boy make it up or something.
Most likely a fake one.
Yeah, but it
But
goes
we'll
along
run
like
with
this.
it. We'll run
I
with it.
agree with it, right?
Yeah.
It was that tactics, the job of tactics is to get the ball to the final third.
Mm.
And from then, it's up to the players, right?
I think that's actually a real one from Pep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we could see that we always get the ball and beautifully done so
Hmm.
through the tactics, through the organization, through the identity, to our attacking players.
Yeah.
And for many reasons that we'll talk about with the tactics, we don't
Hmm.
just have players who just want to beat their man, to duel, to
Yeah.
fight, to score, to shoot. One thing I would say, when you get a ball in the final third minutes, that should be treasure.
Yeah.
That should be treasure. How on earth you could have somebody and they get the ball 6 times or 7 times in that final third, and they pass it with no care. It's like they take it for granted that they're there, and it's like we'll get it there in 5 minutes time. I'll get the ball again in that position.
Mm. No
Malo Gusto,
precision, Ryan. No
Malo, no,
precision.
but it's
Malo
okay.
Gusto.
It's okay if you take your time and you watch where you want to cross and you miss it. But
Mm.
this brother doesn't even watch. He doesn't
Yeah.
even think. He doesn't even raise his head. As soon as that ball gets him, he just smashes it away. He doesn't care who it hits. He doesn't care where it goes. He doesn't have an idea of what he wants to do. He doesn't have
He
a
doesn't
technique.
treasure it, as you said. He doesn't
He
treasure it, bro.
doesn't have a technique in hitting the ball.
Mm.
He doesn't know if he wanted to curve, if he wants to dip. He doesn't give a shit when he gets the ball.
Yeah. And do you know what the crazy part is, Ryan? People, and I know you're going to get into tactics soon. I just want to give a couple of cents on this. People are blaming, oh, it's this new role. It's got nothing to do with the role. Ryan mentioned this in the last episode. Check out the last one. He said about Malo Gusto, the brother actually understands the tactics because
Yeah.
he's there all the time in the right places, picking up the ball. He understands. He's actually understanding the tactical information given by Maresca, and he's following the orders. The problem is when he's got the ball, and he got the ball multiple occasions against Man United, multiple occasions against Man United in very juicy positions, and simple passes. There was one pass where Madueke was on the way. He was running in, and he needed a beautiful pass so that Madueke can run in on that and then produce a shot. Whether Madueke would have produced a shot, that's a different story. But Malo Gusto didn't even give that option. The amount of times Madueke put the ball in to the byline for Malo Gusto to hit and get a lovely cross in, he hits the first guy. So, look, this is what I learned, and I know we're going to go into the tactical board, Ryan, very soon. What I learned is there were some players. Uh, Malo Gusto, look, last season he blew my mind. I was quite blown away by the fact that how gifted he is. But this season so far, it's not even this game. He hasn't been good at all this season. Now I don't know whether that form hopefully is going to come back, but right now it's a bit iffy for me. He's someone who's auditioning, I feel like, for the B team. He's someone who probably should be playing there now, in the Conference League and whatnot, unless he can quickly change it around. Madueke is another one. As much as we back him and say that we understand why he starts ahead of a few of the other wingers for Maresca, but he lacks that goodness up front, man. He really does, man. Nicholas Jackson, once again, on and off, does so well against Newcastle, but against Man United, he just wasn't involved.
Miss, you can see that they studied Madueke too. It's like just don't let him cross
Yeah,
on his left.
yeah.
And just drag him to his right. And he can't do anything. He can't cross. He can't go on his left and shoot.
Yeah.
He can't do anything
He's
except
not a
pass.
Pedro Neto. He's not a Pedro Neto, basically. Pedro
He's
Neto
not.
he's got a game both his feet. He's got game on both his feet. Do you know what I mean?
No, Miss, I think we talk about tactics. Maybe it's time to go old school, my friend.
Yeah.
Come on. Bring up that board, brother.
There you go.
Right, Miss. So I watched your video this morning on Miss Ball.
Come
And I
on.
was like, I'm
By the
missing
way,
this.
which view do you like? Do you like this view or do you like that view?
Um, yeah, this one is good. Yeah, this one
Okay.
is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't need the. Yeah. So
You're watching my
one thing.
video, yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching it. Yeah, I was watching your video and it really got me thinking about the tactics.
Yeah.
And before we watch the board, I wanna verbally just say that the idea of Gusto as an inverted attacking midfielder position,
Hmm.
right? From my point of view, right?
Yeah.
My point of view is that I'm controlling him here. Is that
Yeah.
if we could get him in these pockets and then Madueke here, we could
Hmm.
take these two markers and all of a sudden we could create space for our golden boy,
Got Cole Palmer. Exactly. Yeah.
right? Our
Yeah.
golden boy. And that is what has been done
Hmm.
until the world realized that this is our golden boy.
Hmm.
Sometimes the media attention is not good because the
Yeah.
whole world and media and managers being asked about this guy. And let me tell you, these midfielders gonna go on this guy now.
Yeah.
What that is being done, that instead of Cole Palmer being our extra man that we want to get into position here and make those lovely passes and impact the game,
Hmm.
instead my brother is completely marked at all times.
Mm.
Completely out of the game. And then Jackson's also completely marked too. Right?
Mm.
So we're not getting Jackson to drop in because he's double marked also.
Yeah.
What that means now is that um basically our new free man,
Is Malo Gusto.
our new free man now, because teams would still be, it would kind of be where the fullback is kind of overloaded by our with Gusto and Madueke, right?
Mm.
Madueke would hog the touchline because he loves this, so Gusto would be in this half space here.
Yeah.
And the thing is, our team will never say, for example, say Kukurea comes in inverted here and we have our little, setup here, right?
Hmm.
Our team will never say, "Hey, let's try to pass it to Gusto here
Mm.
as Kaka and receive it as
Yeah.
Kaka would, right?" We would say that
Because
let's
because
release
that's
the
never the
pass.
plan. Because that's
That's
never the
never the
plan.
plan.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden, before he would suck this marker here, and we would pass the Madueke, and all of a sudden, Cole Palmer would be, the free extra man getting into attacking positions, etc. But
Hmm.
now Cole Palmer is double marked, and guys, just use the imagination here because these knobs would not always be accurate.
Yeah.
Now the extra man will be this brother. Malo Gusto is the extra man getting it in these regions here.
And this is why it's not a coincidence that we saw Malo Gusto in the first half regularly one of the free men for us, and he
He is the
was
free man because
everywhere on the right side.
they would double mark Cole Palmer, they would single mark Madueke, and they would, he would get his run.
Yeah.
And they will always double mark Jackson. That's the thing about Jackson. I feel sorry for him because he's always double marked. And that
Mhm.
is where, and they kind of probably don't see Malo Gusto as a threat. They
That's the
would not,
thing. That's the thing. Yeah.
because if we had a guy like, I don't know who is a good
Trent
attacker,
Alexander-Arnold. Let's just say.
yeah, Trent,
Yeah.
then you would see here. And then you'd see Jackson has space now. Then all of
Yeah.
a sudden the back line is stretched. Now Pedro Neto could come in, or even Palmer could get away from his markers. And now we stretch that back line. What we see is that back lines don't care to stretch no more. They say we're
Yeah.
gonna get Jackson out because he's the guy who scored 5 goals, 5 games. We're gonna get Palmer out. We're gonna keep narrow. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep an eye on Pedro Neto in case, but we're gonna let these guys on this right hand side do what they want because
Yeah.
statistically you could watch that even though most attacks come from here, no
Yeah.
output is coming from here.
I want to add one thing whilst you are continuing on with this. It was so evident, and let me know this if this is what you saw or if I saw something differently. I expected Man United to come out of the blocks and press high and really try and win the ball up front, which will then allow us to beat their press and open up in the back, right?
Yeah.
I I didn't see that. I predominantly saw them not in a low block or anything, but similar sort of um, plan like
Like
Liverpool did.
Liverpool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is that what
Well,
you saw as well?
man, you had a good balance where they would use their front two or three to press like Caicedo and Lavia, who are like unpressable, or if that's a
Mm.
word. They are
Yeah.
the best.
Press
Um,
resistant. That's the
best
word.
midfield we've seen. Press resistant, my friend. Thank you for that so much. They're the best. One of the best duos I've seen since Kovacic and Kante and these guys were
Yeah.
here three
Yeah.
years ago, right?
Yeah.
And what is that they had a little bit of a balance where they would send their front three up to press them, but they would keep their midfielders deep on Palmer and narrow, and they would keep the defenders deep and narrow on Jackson. And they would basically say, okay, if you want to switch play to Neto, we would deal with that when it comes around. Right now, we're gonna keep narrow, keep here concentrated through the center. So we're gonna get Jackson Palmer out, and we're gonna see what you all could cook on the sides. We'll deal with it. Because Chelsea is very easy too. Let them cook on the
Mhm.
sides. Who they're gonna cross to? We already have three people on Jackson. We have two people on Cole Palmer. Pedro Neto isn't coming in to head a goal in.
Yeah.
So who else? Caicedo and Lave isn't coming to head or be
No.
Lampard, even though Caicedo scored a good goal.
Mm.
But it goes to show that defenders are okay with stacking up against us centrally
Mm.
because they know that we don't have any threats in wide positions to
Correct.
stretch them.
Correct.
Because before, when you would mark Hazard like this, you leaving Pedro free and Willian and Diego Costa.
No
That would be
chance.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I noticed so far. That's one of the tactics that we talked about, or you were talking about. But our next one, everybody seemed to talk about is Reece James and the back three
Yeah.
and what could be done with that and this. And I think a big thing to talk about is that you can't just think about changing the manager's system. A lot of people, when they look for solutions, fans, they would be like fantasy FIFA booking. And they'd be like,
Bro,
play this
can,
formation and that formation.
can I just quickly tell you something whilst you just think about your next lines? I literally saw, and shout out to that person if you're watching it. I forgot what your name might be in YouTube and whatnot, but you know who I'm referring to. One of these brothers literally said me is, why doesn't he do the Jose or Conte? No, sorry, Conte and someone else. I can't remember. But he said oh yeah, Conte and Thomas Tuchel back three, wing back style, and play like that. And I'm like, but you've got Maresca. Why would he do what Thomas Tuchel and then get them? Like, you don't get a manager to then replicate someone else's work. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah.
it's a different manager, different
Yeah,
philosophy.
exactly.
Like, it's gonna
Exactly.
be he's gonna run the show differently. He believes in you. Chelsea Football Club hired Maresca for a certain reason, not that he copies and pastes Conte and Tuchel stuff.
Yeah, for real. I mean, when you look for a solution as a fan, you try to look at it from the manager's lens.
Yeah,
Yes, it sucks to work in that kind of like entrapment or with that limited, but we need to, that's the only productive conversation we could have.
yeah,
Any other conversation would just be like making a Disney movie. It's not real.
it's not real.
Yeah, you're just wasting your time at that point.
Yeah.
But Miss, before I close up the tactical board, is our next thing that I just wanted to talk about that's quite interesting in our like setup that when
Hmm.
I was playing around with the board that I saw that a lot of people just think about this other inverted fullback here, right?
Yeah.
As someone who could help us in winning like duels in the
Mm.
middle, which is completely true, especially when we want to make those line breaking passes. If Palmer gets like lose the ball here, we could have Kukurea come in and we could stifle them and get it back, right?
Yeah.
But a next thing that I want to say is that what Maresca does really well is we kind of overload and create a wide overload. When we build play, you mightn't recognize it because it looks so central based.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, when you look at it, it is a wide overload. We're trying to get the ball into here.
Yeah.
And I think just having Kukurea here, it does so good, or not even Kukurea, any inverted fullback, it does so good in switch and play. very quickly. So if
Mhm.
you could get like stretch the back line to make them go on one side, the ease that you could have in switching play from say here to here to here, and then let Pedro Neto get on free and catch them with Jackson here
Mhm.
is really, really a dangerous kind of Italian way to go about football. You'd see Conte do it a lot. You build with the wide overloads, and it might not look like a wide overload because it starts from here. You might think you're
Yeah.
building pace centrally, but brother, this is a wide overload. Right? And I
Yes.
think I'm watching your video too much because I never used to say brother, and now I've seen it all the time now. Because literally anytime I eating food and shit, I just have your videos on. Right, brother? So
That's right, brother.
yeah, good. So it's really good, man. So you could always that switch and play is so important, and it is a very Italian like type of tactic. And you get
Mhm.
it to Pedro Neto, and then you have this fullback trying to suck this fullback in, and then you basically get really good options in attack.
Yeah.
So, Miss, it goes on to w- my last tactical point, and I think you could leave the board on for a couple minutes here.
Yeah.
My whole thing is that and my issue with Maresca is that for the past 5 or 6 weeks, we're seeing this thing where our build up, whether it's through this wide overload or switch and play out wide,
Mhm.
right, through that fullback and going to here, is really good. And even the movements with the fullback inverting and Cole Palmer and all of these guys is good, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And many times you would see Cole Palmer playing this pass out to the fullback here and there. But the thing is when we reach the final third miss, I feel these players need a bit more tactical training on exactly what to do when you're in these positions.
Mm.
Because they just, how Pep say that, you use tactics to get into the final third and they'll do the rest. Well, yeah, if you have Messi and Pedro and Fabregas
Yeah.
and those guys, yeah. But
Yeah.
so much times I would see that Jackson is making a run. Why is he just here behind two defenders? So when many times Pedronetto or Gusto would play across, but it would never ever get to him. It will never get to him.
Mm.
It could never get to him because I don't think Jackson's runs inside the box, not in behind and against
Yeah.
a,
I was
a
just
high
gonna
line.
say.
In
Yeah.
behind against a high line, he's really good because I don't think
Beautiful.
he's naturally a
Beautiful.
striker. I think he's like a second striker. But as
Exactly.
like a main number nine, his runs, man,
Are
they're
not that great.
always they're
Yeah.
always central here. You remember
Yeah.
when Torres, I know he's probably not the best example to use at Chelsea, but remember the kind of runs he used to make like
Around. Yeah.
and in front the defender
Yes.
to
Yes.
flick in the headed goal.
Even Drogba, bro. Even
Yeah.
Drogba.
Or
Do you know
even
what I
like
mean?
if you run around the defender, you could just flick it with a heel and see if it gets on goal
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something. At least touch the ball.
Or far post. Like choose an
Yeah.
area. Like
Yeah. Or
okay,
far post. Yeah.
you may start centrally so that you lock in the defenders. So you start
Exactly. And then
and then go either way, whichever. Like you have to communicate with your wingers. You have to let them know I like far post. So
yeah.
send the ball far post. Do you know what I mean?
And
Or I like near post. Like zipping across near post, and I will be there.
yeah. And then we could have players like, for example, when, for example, if you go like far post, there's a chance you could score, or there's a big chance you could play it back in here. That
Yep.
is when your players like Palmer and
Correct.
Gusto and
Yep.
Madueke has to be around here like bulldogs, ready for
Yep.
any ball that pounces.
Yep.
You don't overthink and lay it off and do this and then pass it back to Neto, who is marked by two men. No, when you get it here,
Pop.
go on
Yep.
goal.
Yep.
And I think that Jackson's movement again low block, but not only Jackson's movement, but Palmer, we could see now that this brother is nowhere near the box anymore. He's kind of like a
Mm.
creator, especially as you know how before we used to have Enzo playing that kind of box to box
Yeah,
feet.
and Palmer's a little bit further up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you would have like Caicedo and Lavia being so deep, which I like. So don't think I don't
Yeah.
like it. I love what they do in transitions and build up. But now we have Palmer having to come deep to be like
Bro,
a
he was at
central
left mid
midfielder.
the other day
Yeah.
against Man United. He was picking up balls from left side
So
halfway.
no, you can't expect Palmer to be like Kante, where he's just here and here and here and here everywhere, right?
Mm.
Because that's not just how he is. So when Jackson and stuff brings back these balls, it's up to, you know, it's up to the surrounding cast, like the Gusto. If you're gonna have him around these areas, he has to be trained to where you want him to be when these crosses go in. And that's
Mm.
what Chilwell used to do really well. You could
Yeah,
laugh at
Reece
me, but
James as well. Reece James as well in
when
those
Chilwell
areas.
was inverted, right?
Yeah,
Here, when that ball dropped for him, you know how much shots he hit, long shots he hit from here,
bro.
which was just on target and
You
nearly
remember that
scored.
goal against Brentford, Chilwell,
Yeah,
at just outside the box because the
yeah,
ball landed perfectly and he just rifled one in. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. But it's sad because when I think about Kukure and Gusto, I don't think about these two guys scoring from here.
Yeah, they're not really
And
goal scoring
like,
fullbacks. They're just not.
yeah, the same problem we have with Aspilicueta. It would be like, well, I wouldn't want you shooting from here. So why
Mm.
would we have you here? But if we had a Reece James here, and that's our
Oh
next
yeah,
conversation. But
yeah,
Reece James, when he had a hamstring, he could have shoot and score from here, or even cross or whatever. Even
correct.
Ivanovic, those guys could have shoot.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
even Marcos Alonso from that left side. You
Yeah,
remember those
yes,
days?
exactly. So that's why I'm thinking like to, and that's where I'll go to say, yes, I understand. And you can take off the board now, right?
Mm.
That's the question I want to ask you, Miss, and I want to hear your five, not two, but your 5 cents on this.
Mm.
I understand that Maresca has a philosophy,
Yeah,
but a philosophy that could be something from an approach to the game.
yeah,
It doesn't necessarily need to be a positional philosophy that you, for example, that you have to have wing backs or have to have inverted fullbacks.
yeah,
Do I know the answer? This is a rhetorical question because we don't. But do
yeah.
we have the players to play the roles that's needed to get the most out of this? Because one before you start, in build up we do
Yes,
because Gusto and Kukure and those guys are amazing, man. We probably have one of the best build ups in the league.
correct.
On Europe, it's so smooth, it's so organized, it's well taught,
Mm.
right? It's
Mm.
practiced. But when it gets to the final third, we don't have the inverted fullbacks to hit those shots or cross. We don't
Mhm.
have the wingers to take on man to man. We don't have the striker to engage for headers and go far post and this and that. Palmer is getting triple marked at central midfield, left mid.
Correct.
Miz, it's reaching the point now that teams have figured out how to not lose against Chelsea.
Yeah,
Compact central mid to low block. What are
100%.
we going to do? What is Maresca going to do?
And this is why, Ryan, it's such a beautiful question. I'm going to answer this. And just before I do that, this is why I was so surprised that Newcastle at Stamford Bridge. Like, did you not see the blueprint
Yeah,
from Liverpool? Like,
yeah, and we
how are
did
you
it.
coming flying into our half, pressing so high, and leaving gaps in behind for Pedro Neto? I was like, you're dumb, Newcastle. You are actually dumb. But thank you very much for
Yeah,
the 3 points.
thank you, thank you.
Man United, however, they weren't dumb. And I
Nope.
don't know whether if under Eric Ten Hag they would have been a little bit more naive, but maybe Ruud van Nistelrooy said, "Guys, I saw the Liverpool game against them. Just don't press them. Don't press
Yeah,
them. Sit tight. Sit organized. Look at the key players: Palmer, Jackson, so on and so forth, and stifle them. Because after that, I said it after the Newcastle game, or was it the Liverpool game? I can't remember when we did the That Side podcast. There's a lot of teams, right? They don't rate a lot of our players. And this is how now I want to answer your question, the lovely question you presented, right? After this Man United game, that's a full realization that I had was Enzo Maresca probably doesn't have all the personnel that he needs to execute his style of play.
yeah,
And you know what the worst thing is, Ryan? Oppositions know that as well. The oppositions also know that you, Mr. Enzo Maresca, you have a lovely way of playing football, sure, You don't have the personnel to carry out what you want to do. So we know that, and we're going to cut off the people that are good in your team, and then the others we don't rate. We don't rate. Us fan base are starting to not rate them as well. You know, the likes of Madueke, they're good players, they're lovely players, but they're not gonna cut it. They're not gonna cut it. Malagusto, even as much as we like Cucurella, people think, oh, cut this Malagusto stuff. I don't want to see Malagusto playing in that attacking midfield area and those spaces that Ryan has just shown. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Get Cucurella in and get him to invert. And to those people that I want to say, he's gonna have to do the same thing.
Yeah.
People need to understand and clock. As soon as you have Lavia and Caicedo in the middle, Maresca likes them that double pivot. So you think Cucurella is just gonna? Someone's got to go into those half spaces. So if you want Cucurella to come in, it's pick someone. It's gonna be Lavia or Caicedo. And at the moment, Maresca doesn't want Lavia and Caicedo in those areas. He likes them in a bit deeper position. Win the balls. Do you know what I mean? Win your duels. And help out in build up and connecting with the attackers. So either way, it's either going to be Malagusto in that area where he's going to be free, or it's going to be Cucurella who's going to be free. You pick your warrior. Who are you going to go with? Because best believe this game against Arsenal coming up, and I don't know whether Cole Palmer is going to be fit because there's some doubt now. But if he is, Arsenal will absolutely nullify Cole Palmer's game.
Yeah.
They are probably one of the best when it comes to defensively setting up, and especially Arteta this season is playing like Jose Mourinho style. I know they're a bit shaky and this, that, the other, but they're still way ahead of us in terms of their development. So we have to find a solution. So to answer your question, Ryan, no, we don't have a Dani Alves on the right side. We don't have Marcelo on the left side.
Miss, can I do some Miss Ball, prime Miss Ball? And I know you be getting angry at people for fantasy making squads, but bro, I wanna get the pass as your best friend in the whole wide world to do it for fun here.
You can, because I love you. You know that, so you can.
Hear me out, bro. So we use a 3-2-5. Okay, my friend. Okay, I'm happy with that. We could keep the same tactics, right? Because you know before we used to be like, oh, we could have the fullback inverted so we could, drag fullbacks out of place and this and that shit.
Yeah.
Bro, nobody falling for that trap again. Because they're so used to inverted fullbacks now. They're like, you know what, bro, just let them fullbacks do what they want. We'll deal with them. Yeah. We don't need to follow you, right? And create space for the winger. But I would say, man, let's go back to the old school 3-4-3. Here we go. Right, brother? Hear me out.
Yeah.
Sanchez in goal, my friend. He will give me a heart attack, but it's the best we have, right?
Yeah, it's the best we got.
All right. I didn't think about this too good, right, Miss? But I'm going to do it. Left center back, I'll give you Marc Cucurella. Euro champion, left center back.
Okay.
Central center back, I will go with Levi Colwill. RCB.
Oh, you're going with the 3-4-3? Is that what you're saying?
3-4-3.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Central center back, I would go Colwill.
Yep.
Third center back, I would go Wesley. 80 million pound Alex Goldberg Fofana.
Yeah, right? I like it so far. Yeah.
At right wing back, I would give a very limited role on wide areas to make use of those crosses, to put a bit of fear into fullbacks that we can't let this guy cross. But we will give it a limited role. No, bro. Reece James.
Right wing back. Right wing back.
Bro,
you're gonna get him injured, bro.
No, bro. I talked to Pochettino. I know what's going wrong. Hear me out. We will cover
Okay.
for him. We could
Okay.
cover for him, right?
Okay.
Because we have the personnel, we have the guys to cover for him, right?
Okay.
We just need to strike some fear that when somebody gets the ball on the wide right area, that they're going to put in a good cross, and if they want to come to the edge of the box to shoot, then they're going to shoot on target.
Yeah.
Remember those Reece James free kicks too, from
Oh,
back in the day,
yeah, bro.
brother?
Come on.
Yeah. Two midfielders are gonna go with Enzo. Nah, joking. We're gonna go with Lavia, and
And
we're gonna go with
Caicedo.
Caicedo.
Yep. Yep.
Left wing back, we're gonna bring it to where that we're gonna have Pedro Neto on the left
Yep.
wing.
Yep.
Left wing back, sorry, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you want to make a back four, Kukurea could shift. It could be Kukurea left back, then
Yep.
Levi, then Fofana, then Reece James. So we could defend
Yes.
in a back four, but attack
Yes.
with the wing backs.
You're going with the same plan that I actually discussed in Twitter. So yeah, carry on.
Oh,
Yep.
damn, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know where
Pedro
you're going.
Neto. All right.
Yep.
On right attacking midfielder, we're going to
Mm-hmm.
have Cole Palmer.
Yep.
On strike, we're gonna have
Jackson.
Nicholas Jackson. And Mez, you're gonna hate me for this, brother. But we're gonna go to the B team for this
Yeah,
guy on the left.
Felix.
We're gonna have Felix on the
Yeah.
left.
This is exactly the plan I
We
had.
need help. One, Felix and Neto might have good chemistry on the left
Yeah.
and could even out things on the right side with Cole Palmer and Reece James.
Yeah.
And the runs Felix would make against low blocks or just the presence they're trying to make those runs in behind this and that
Yeah.
could free Jackson a bit to be a bit less unmarked.
So basically, and this is exactly what I talked about, and we're going to bring this up now so that everyone just gets a proper demonstration as to what we are doing here.
It would be nearly the same tactics that we're using now, just a little tweak.
And we're going to wrap it up very, very soon here, and I'm going to wrap it up with the final sort of thought on that. But first, this is what basically Ryan's saying, and then let's just draw this out, right? So we got Kukurea, we've got Colwell here, and this is something I'm pretty sure Enzo Maresca actually alluded to the other day in the press conference, saying that we are thinking about integrating both Palmer and Felix in the same team. And he's like, we're working there. He's cooking something. So it'll be interesting to see when he can cook that. Ryan had Reece James here. I actually had Malo Gusto because I'm worried about Reece James's health. But that's fine. We can have Reece James there.
We'll back him up with Caicedo.
We'll back
give him
him up.
extra coverage with Caicedo. And Lavia can handle centrally.
Yep. And here we have...
And Kukurea is staying back. He's not going to be an overlap in LCB.
No,
so he's back to give support to Lavia.
Yeah, and he's proper LCB. He's not bombing forward.
So we could do all that we need to do with James, like how we used to do for Jorginho.
Correct. And this
Palmer, you're gonna put Palmer on the left?
Oh, sorry. Well, either or. I can have Palmer here. I
want Felix next to Neto.
Okay, that Portuguese connection. Yeah. No problems. And allows for Felix to probably open up his body and whip it with his right. And similarly with Palmer as well, open up the body and whip it with his left. And Jackson. So basically 5 and 5, right? So these guys are holding the width. This is what Ryan's saying. These guys are your half space players, and you got Jackson, you got Lavia and Caicedo operating in the middle, and you got the back three of Kukurea, Colwell, Fofana, which is more or less similar to what Maresca's doing now, except what we've done is we've eliminated Gusto and Madueke and allowed for Reece James to hold the width, Neto to hold the width, which he does already anyway, and now we've allowed a proper half space player, Felix, and Palmer's obviously already operating there. My only issue, and we'll end it here, and I'd love to hear what Ryan has to say about this, is this, brother. Mm-hmm. Because on the ball, no problems. We're looking good. It's a good shape, right? for Maresca. I'm pretty sure he'll probably deploy this soon. Off the ball, as Ryan said it last week, this brother is going to be watching a movie. He's got the popcorn ready. He's watching a
And
movie.
you get popcorn for Nkunku.
he's not.
And Kunku
He's
is in
not.
the concessions line right now.
He's not bothered to press. He's not bothered to cut off passing lanes. And then before you know it, the whole gaff is falling apart.
Well, at
You know
least
what I
we
mean?
know what to expect from him, so you work around it, right? You
Yeah.
have
So, what do you
Felix is
think?
gonna be one of those ones where you have to. The only reason I would have Felix, because I don't mind having like a next half place and Nkunku there. The
Mm,
only reason is that I need to get Jackson more into this game, because
yeah.
you if you could use Felix to make runs into the box for those crosses and you could free Jackson, you create not only opportunities for Jackson and Felix, but you create space for Palmer on the edge of the box to score a lot of goals.
Mm.
I
No,
need
I
I need
agree.
somebody. You see, Felix still has an aerial threat, which Nkunku doesn't.
Mm, mm.
Something about Felix's runs against low blocks, he does get into good heading positions. How much times you would say that Felix missed a good header? Yes, he missed clear headers, but he was there in the first place.
Yeah.
And that alone
It's a
would
matter of
help Jackson.
execution. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, man, having Felix next to Neto too, it would kind of raise his body language up because he just have
Mm.
that connection. Because Felix, he's not the perfect guy. He has his flaws, but we need to work around them and just try to find solutions. Because I don't think Sancho would be the solution right now. He would just add to the problem of passing around and this and that.
Mm.
So I think that Nkunku or Felix could help in that solution. I would go for Felix.
Yeah. And look,
And Felix is a custom has some Premier League experience too. That's why I would.
and look, I mean, Felix is a talented player, but lately, what his problem is not just off the ball, on the ball as well. He's not producing the goods. But this is, I think, one of the scenarios Maresca talked about in the press conference, that he wants to integrate both Felix and Palmer into the team, and I think this is probably the only way that we can do that. And as I said, it eliminates Malo Gusto being in those areas. And also with Reece James being the widest player, hopefully we're going to get a little bit more purchase as opposed to Madueke. But the problem is Reece James is not great 1v1. So you're going to have to, forget about players take, like Neto will take the players on, but Reece James, I don't think will be someone
I
who's going to
think
be
it'll
keen
be
to
a
take
kind
the
of thing
players
where
on.
there'll be opportunity for Palmer to make those, overlapping runs and stuff. But you know what,
Yeah,
man?
yeah,
I think Reece
exactly.
James. I mean, this is just a fantasy thing,
Mm.
but I think that Maresca has to be having these conversations. We
I,
need
I,
some solutions.
I'm sure he is, because Ryan, Cole Palmer needs more artilleries around him. He
Yeah,
cannot be nullified and then the rest of the team just can't find an answer. And then Malo Gusto is the free guy. Like,
yeah.
Maresca should be scared about that. Maresca cannot be going into games thinking, well, Cole
Yo,
Palmer is going to be locked off and the entire game now rests on Malo Gusto or Cucurella.
let's say
Do you know
this,
what I mean?
right? Barcelona used to let Messi be the free player. PSG used to let Neymar be the free player. How the heck we get to the position that we let Malo Gusto be our free player? Because you know how much tactical work you have to do to get a guy to be the free player?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How on earth, with a team with all these players, Madueke, Kupama, Pedro Neto, that we ended up on Malo
Malo
Gusto
Gusto
being
being the free
the
player.
game changer, free player in attack.
Yeah. It's
And
mad.
it's not
It's
by
mad.
mistake. It happens every single time we go into attack.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah, bro.
All right, bro. Once again, top conversation. Hope the people in the live chat, this is premiering, so it's not live, it's pre-recorded, but we're going to premiere it sometime today, UK time, maybe around 9ish. And let me know, people in the live chat, what do you think about some of the solutions we put out? What do you think about some of the issues that we've pointed out as well? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Hope you guys have all enjoyed this. Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe. Let's get to 40,000 subscribers. And follow my man Ryan on social media as well. All his links are in the description as well. Until next time, everyone. Take care. See ya.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.